What's up, everybody? John Eric Poli here with my MMA news, and today's guest just defeated Sam Alvey by a second round submission at UFC Vegas 47 earlier this month. Pleased to be joined by Brendan Allen here today. Brendan, thanks for being here, man. Appreciate the time. It's great to talk to you here. I know we were chatting before we came on air here. We had a nice little conversation, so looking forward to talking to you here today.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, no problem at all. So let's start talking about this recent victory here earlier this month. So you actually took the fight on 7 days' notice, which is crazy to think about. What led to that decision to accept the fight on short notice like that? And it just happened to time out where you were training and ready to go?
Uh, so I asked for the fight on 7 days' notice. So basically, I asked for the fight Friday night, the week before the fight. I found out my teammate had pulled out, and Ali was like, "No, I don't think it's a good idea. You haven't been training." Monday night, I called Ali and I was explaining to him some things that were just happening in my personal life a little bit. And so he's like, I'll call Mick tomorrow. He called Mick, and they called me at 1:30 on Tuesday, and they were like, "Hey, do you still want that fight?" I was like, "Sure." They're like at 2:05. I was like, "Okay, when?" They were like, "Saturday," because I didn't know if they would move it. And I was like, "All right, when do I fly out?" And they were like, "You can fly out tonight or tomorrow," which is Wednesday. I was like, "I'll just fly out tomorrow." So on Wednesday at like 4 a.m., I woke up, went to the airport, flew out to Vegas, and fought Saturday night. So it was like 3 or 4 days notice officially. And no, I luckily just went to Stanford to help my teammate Ungla get ready for his fight the week before. So obviously when I went to the Eagle fights that week, I was in Stanford helping them. And so luckily I had trained that week, and before that I had ran once a week and been lifting. But other than that, I wasn't hitting pads. I wasn't really rolling. I wasn't doing really anything. So it was basically off the couch. And yeah, I mean, it was just a roll of the dice that luckily just paid off.
So I wanted to get your thoughts on accepting a short notice fight, because I often use this analogy when I talk to people when fighters take a short notice fight. I remember when Michael Bisping won the middleweight championship against Luke Rockhold. He said he was on a movie set filming a movie, got the phone call. He wasn't prepared to fight, and he kind of had, I think he accepted like maybe 13 days notice, and he kind of just started running, kind of slowly getting himself into whatever kind of shape he get himself in. But he talked about that night when he won it, there wasn't as much pressure on him because he didn't have the full training camp. Thought things, dwell on his mind, and his body didn't take that beating going through a full training camp like that. So I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Was there any upside to taking a short notice fight? Was your mind maybe a little bit clearer that you didn't have that time to worry and get bogged down, and was your body maybe a little bit fresher because you didn't go through a whole camp like that?
Definitely. I definitely think it was a little bit of both. I mean, obviously my body was pretty darn good, like from healing, because that's what I had been doing up until that point, was just resting, letting everything heal up, trying to rehab some things. So my body was, pretty good. I'd say it was probably about 85% healthy. And then mentally, yeah, I don't feel like I had that much pressure on me. I didn't have like a big weight cut or anything. So I was able to just like enjoy the whole experience a little bit more. Obviously, like there's little things that creep into your head when you're chilling or hanging out. But overall, not much pressure. I got to enjoy. I got to hang out with my friends, be in the moment, and just I guess just overall enjoy it, man. There wasn't too much to focus on outside of just we got to get this done. We got to get this done so we can fight. So it was overall it was a good experience, man. I can't complain. I thought it was really cool. Will I do it again? Probably not. But overall, it's just something you just get to put in your box for memories. For one day you can talk about it with your friends or to your kids, and it's just cool to just have say you have done that.
All right, well, let's start breaking this fight down here so we could, put this great moment in perspective here. So, obviously, you got the submission in the second round. We'll start here, though, with the opening round. It was competitive opening 5 minutes for the majority of it. You then landed that big shot at the end of the first round that kind of dropped them there. Just kind of give us your thoughts on that first round and how it kind of played out in your eyes.
I mean, I was lucky enough to, like I said, I wasn't in great cardio shape probably as I normally would be. So for me, I was lucky to fight a guy that where I could dictate the pace. I knew he'd keep his back against the cage most of the time, pressure sometimes, with a little combo, and then that'd be it. So I knew that I just had to kind of focus and try to. I'm a very like big into like a chess player when it comes to fighting, chess over checkers. So I was trying to calculate everything, being as I hadn't been sparring or anything like that, so my timing wasn't right. So in the first round, I just needed to kind of understand the timing, the distance, and figure that out. And it took me the first round to do so, but overall, it was just trying to calculate what he was doing as far as his technical assets, as far as where his hand was going, where he was leaving it, where he was circling, where his head was at. So that's normally the first round for me anyways, just trying to calculate things. I'm not just a go out there and just balls to the walls kind of guy. So, but it was all right. I hit him, he hit me, it was a fight.
Yeah, well, so once you got things calculated there, you really, turned it on. Like I said, at the end of the first round, you were able to drop them. Then second round, when you got this submission there, you actually landed another big punch that when you landed, like we saw the minutes of the replay, spit goes flying out of Sam's mouth, drops right to the canvas. As soon as he dropped right down, you swarmed them, you were on him in seconds there, got the win. Just take us through that sequence there and how that kind of all played out through your eyes for you getting the win there.
Yeah, man. So I've kind of fought a lot of guys kind of like Sam, not like a veteran, but like super tough. So like when you drop them, if they're not out or if you wake them up from being out, you don't put them back out. Like it's so weird to say, but I knew going into the fight, Sam was that guy. If I clip him, I better swarm him and try to hit the same spot, but most likely just take the submission or else I'm gonna hurt my hands. So when I clipped him and he just dropped, I was like, shit, he's still moving. Damn. I was hoping he'd just go out. And then he kept moving. I was trying to hit him. And I was like, man, this is just getting ridiculous. Luckily, I saw his neck and then jumped on the rear naked choke. And I know I have a very, very tight squeeze from that side. So I knew once I locked it, I didn't need hooks or anything like that. It was just game over. And luckily enough, that's what happened.
So the win puts you at 6-2 in the UFC. I know obviously this fight was at light heavyweight and you accepted it on just days' notice, but normally you fight at middleweight. Middleweight, interesting position right now. The division does need some new blood in it. You're currently not ranked. Given your success early on here, coming off a win, I think wins in 3 of your last 4, do you think that your next fight should be against a guy that is ranked and give you this opportunity to start, cracking these rankings and moving up in a division that does need some fresh new blood?
Man, that's an interesting question because, not only in the UFC, but in my career, just total, when I kind of focus on something and put so much emphasis on it and kind of put it on a pedestal, for some reason, there's outside sources that just kind of, I don't know what it is in the universe, but it just kind of has its way of just taking it away from me and just kind of just pulling it further away from my reach. And so I've learned not to just focus on or dwell on certain aspects. So just like as being in the top 15, I was focused on that forever. And I get a top 15 opponent, train. And the next thing I get a new opponent that's not. That's happened to me a couple of times. And obviously the last one was the Curtis ordeal when I ended up fighting Curtis, but I was supposed to fight Brad. And we trained for him that was the longest one. We trained for him for 8 weeks before, I got a new guy and then another new guy. So, at this point, man, I don't care who I fight. I just want to have some consistency and keep the same guy in, from the sign of the contract to the fight night. I just need the same guy. When I get the same guy, I clown guys, and that's what I'm going to continue to do. I have to prepare properly, mentally and physically. And when I have the same guy to do so, I feel like that's the reason why I'm able to clown these guys because I'm good at my preparation.
So let me ask you this question too then. Maybe you could relate to this, maybe not, but when the first half of your answer you just gave, it made me think back to when I interviewed Rob Font and Andrew Lee. They both gave kind of similar answers to what you were saying in the first part of that, where they used to worry about things like rankings, getting the right opponent, getting the right matchup, and they thought they were putting so much pressure on all this outside stuff that it affected their performance inside the octagon. When they kind of let that thing go and just focused on fighting and enjoying what they do and enjoying being a professional athlete, that they performed better, and then the chips, fell to where they had to fall, and everything worked out perfectly and worked itself out because they were just focusing on being a good fighter as opposed to worrying about these outside noise and headlines like rankings and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I had done that and been there at one point, and then I finally got well, and then I got the opportunity again to fight the top 15, and I was fighting Brad at the time was number 11 in the world, and I was like, yes, finally, like everything's fallen into place, everything's going, according to so-called plan, and then it got ripped from me, and like so kind of close to the fight, and it just, I don't know, man, it just kind of took something out of me. It was just like so disappointing to just not get that opportunity yet again, and then having to go out here and fight somebody that, one, I didn't intend to fight, two, that nobody knows about. So it was just like, I don't know, it's just super, super disappointing. I guess that's the only word that I can use to describe it. And it's just kind of, you just kind of sigh and put your head down and try to get the job done. And it didn't work out for me on that time. And so, it is what it is. But yeah, I've had that opportunity taken from me three times. Yeah, three times. I was supposed to fight Ian Heines twice when he was in the top 15, and Brad Tavares, and all those times fell out. So I'm just trying my best to just focus on it. And for me, it's just instead of putting emphasis on a number next to my name and all of that type of things that could come with it, it's more of just putting it on like financial stability for me and my family, and just continue to grow that financial stability. And I think that kind of helps me a little bit more stay away from not focusing so much on the numbers.
Gotcha. Now I do want to talk a little bit about training here. You, of course, trained down at Stanford MMA in South Florida. There are a lot of great coaches and everybody down there. What's that experience of training there, working with all those coaches and high-level athletes been like for you since you've been training down there?
Man, it's been great. The push is just a lot different. I'm not used to like, well, I am now, but going into the gym, I wasn't used to like so high intensity workouts. Like our 10 o'clock practices every day it's a grind, man. And I wasn't used to being able to, facilitate that such intense workout and then keep going and doing other intense workouts and then keep that up throughout the week. But I've come to learn like my body and how to deal with that and doing proper recovery and things like that. But as far as the knowledge in the room, it's insane, like how much knowledge you have, not only from the coaches, but the fighters as well. It's just nice to get some input from everyone, all in the room, whether it's your training partner, your coaches, or, whoever, it's just a different atmosphere because everyone's so close and so, so cool, especially the guys in your weight class. Like we have a lot of 85ers. So our 85ers, we're all super close, talk every day because we train every day, but we talk, we hang out, how's your family? How's your family? How's everything else? So such a tight knit, little group from each weight class. And just overall, it's just, you can't say enough good things about how high level everyone is, but to me, more importantly, how good of people they are.
And would you say that moving down there to do your training camps has been the best decision you made so far in your career, given all of the, like you just said, they're great coaches, great teammates, great facility? It seems like, it really could be a great career move for you down there.
Definitely. I mean, I've always felt like, well, I haven't always felt like that, but here in the past year or two, I've felt like I'm different, man. I felt like my technical ability is super high, and I don't tell a lot of people, like, just because I don't like to be a prick but I've come to really believe in myself and my abilities, and so I knew they'd always be there, but they've helped bring that out. They've helped with the mental side as well. So I feel like moving down there and signing with Dominance and Ali, I think those two things combined have been super great. Obviously, there's teams everywhere, and you can always get looks from every team, and coaches bring different aspects. But to me, it's how you click with them. And right now, at this very moment, I feel like I have the best team that I can have, and how we click and how we mesh is great. So with Ali and Dominance and Sanford, Henry, and Jason and Greg and all my teammates, like it's just a great combination right now, along with just my person. I feel like those three things together is what makes everything just function smoothly. And right now, everything is at this very moment functioning very smoothly.
So, right, you talked there about, management, coaching, everything just kind of going right for you at the moment. And given obviously your age, right, 26, so you're just starting to get into your prime years here. They usually say, but scientifically first, they say what men usually peak out like in these 25 to age 30 types of years. So do you feel like where you're at right now, the right headspace, the right coaching, right management, that right now you're just about to enter kind of this prime run in your career right now?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like from guys that I talk to, it's like obviously I might be a tad different because I've been doing it for a long time. As far as like training and stuff, I've been training half my life, so my body's kind of been taking that beating for a while. But I feel like my time is about 28. I feel like about 28, I'll be at just a different level. So a couple of years, and I think I'll be a champion for sure, if not before then. So I feel like something's special's coming for me, and that's why I just try to keep the outlook as. But I know that I still have to just keep working hard and keep grinding and keep trying to improve. I think that's the thing. I can't get complacent, and I can't think that I know everything. So just constantly surrounding myself with people that can teach me and help me learn and keep that right mentality is the formula for success.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing this run here. And I just have one last thing that I want to ask you about before we wrap things up here. And I was a little surprised that I was looking at your Instagram earlier today, and you had a big post up with Sean Strickland and saying how, there's no beef on your end. I know that there was any sort of tension or that between you guys. What was kind of the backstory there and kind of how you got to this point where you're at now that you made that Instagram post that you put up?
So I mean, it stemmed from like after I lost, it was just like uh, before Strickland, I was always chasing my losses, just young and just super competitive version of me. I'm still super competitive, but I'm just not as competitively immature. But so basically, after I lost. I lost. It was whatever. I got caught. It is what it is. So 2 weeks after I fought, people had continuously been telling me like, "Man, he said some reckless things in his interview." I was like, "I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't pay attention to it." So anyway, for 2 weeks, people had been telling me that, and finally, I was like, "I want to see what everyone's talking about." So I went and watched his like the media after in the back, the post fight, and he was saying like he was trying to like cover it up, like, "Oh, he's a good guy, but I wanted to make him see the devil. I'm gonna orphan his kid." And I'm that kind of guy. Like you could say whatever you want about me, my wife, my family, as long as you don't cross that boundary of my children, my niece, and my brother. Like, okay, you can say whatever you want, but as soon as you say that, like, I want to fight you. So that's where it kind of stemmed from. And then when I fought Chris Curtis, the day we almost fought at the PI, and then security like broke it up, whatever. Or, like they already knew about it, so they were already there. And then the day of the fight, so December 4th, he come up to me and apologized and said his side of like what he was feeling or what he meant, and I said how I had felt, and it was just squashed. So being as the beef was kind of so public with us, I felt it was only the right thing to do since he made the right action and apologized and manned up for his actions. It was only right for me to do the same and publicly announce that the beef was squashed.
Well, I'm glad that that's squashed. And that's a lot of intense stuff, but I'm glad you guys were able to kind of come together there and work all that out. Thanks for opening up about that too. I know that's probably not an easy thing to open up to and relate to there. So thanks for doing that. I appreciate it. Just one last thing now before you roll out, though. If you want to go ahead and plug your social media, give shout outs to whoever you want to give a shout out to, you get the last word.
All right, man. Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It was good talk with you. I appreciate it. You want to follow me? It's on Instagram. It's B_Allen185. Brendan Allen MMA on Twitter, and Brendan Allen on Facebook. Thanks to my team, my management dominance, my team at Stanford. I have some really good sponsors that help me out as well. Carry Construction, Mark Russell Clothing, Wex Gunworks, and First Form. They're really big supporters and sponsors. And just thank you to all my team, man, my family. It's great. I can't wait for the next one. Thank you.
All right, Brendan, thanks so much for the time, man. Really appreciate it, and appreciate all you guys watching today's interview. If you liked it, please go to the bottom, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to this YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Also, mymmanews.com. Great website. That's who I'm with. A lot of great stuff comes out there 7 days a week, so make sure you guys are going to our website. Also, make sure you guys check out our social media pages as well. And if you want to give me a follow on Instagram or Twitter, I'm at John Arapoli. We'll see you later, everybody.